Hey guys, Yakri here with another Warframe video. So, it's gonna be a little less serious. I just wanted to dispel some, myths about Saryn that I've seen floating around the internet, that are really fucking stupid, but, some sources have been, perpetuating these nonsensical beliefs. People just, going on the internet and telling lies or really completely unresearched, baseless statements they believe are true. Anyway, so let's go with myth number one. Some people believe that Saryn spore spreading is kind of fucky because what happens is that it checks the spread distance of the spores is dependent on how close they are to you. Now maybe there's some issue where your spores get 150 plus meters away and the game bugs out and stops spreading them because they're so far away. Maybe that's a thing, but I guarantee you there's nothing if you're 50 meters away from an enemy, the spores don't spread because the spore spread distance is 40 meters. Guaranteed that is not a thing that's actually a problem. Watch this, all right? I'll go show you my mods in a second here. Look at that, they spread. Oh, look, they spread all the way over there. How far am I away from these guys? It's 33 meters. Okay, what's my? Well, you want to see what my spore spread distance is? Oh, 9 meters. Yeah, okay, so it's not like something that's, yeah, it's not like that. I've spread spores over 100 meters in Sanctuary Onslaught, so I know it's also, at least if there is some sort of range-based bug, it's greater than 100 meters, which is pretty far. It's more than double the distance you're gonna get on your spore spreads. So, yeah, this is the mod build I used for this. Okay, so there's another myth going around from a similar source. At least that's where I'm seeing a lot of people post it, and that says something along the lines of if there's no line of sight to an enemy, right, spores won't spread, and anything can block line of sight. Doodads, walls, bodies, just an enemy in between two enemies will stop the spores from spreading. Really anything. In fact, someone posted something similar to that on one of my videos. This is, of course, completely bullshit, and I don't know why. Either it's people blatantly lying, or they had feelings like the spore spreading wasn't working well enough, and they just assumed that this was the case instead of actually, seeing if it worked. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of a bitch to set up, but hopefully I can get this to work. I'm basically gonna try and get some of the doggies to walk on this side of the pillar while some enemies are directly behind the pillar, right? And probably a lot of enemies are all right. Okay, as you can see, they all have spores, all of them instantly. Okay, every single dude back there has spores. So if there are any sort of issues with spore spreading, it's not line of sight and it's some sort of rare bug. Yeah. Now, of course, a lot of people are gonna be like, yeah, okay, this is another simulacrum video. It's not like real Warframe. Well, I uploaded a video where I'm playing through Sanctuary Onslaught, and if you look hard enough through the parts of it that I'm playing, at various points, the spores do spread through walls to reach other enemies. They spread very long distances. I believe I get to this ice cavern, and probably spore chains spread at least 100 meters in that part of the video. And sometimes I'm far away from the enemies, blah, 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 blah. But now that I'm done mocking these people who have, perpetuated this absolute nonsense on the internet, I want to talk about why, where this idea came from, probably, most likely. So, spores not spreading through line of sight, probably what's happening is people are shooting the spores and they spread. And then they go to another room and they see enemies that don't have spores on them yet, right? And so they think, the spores didn't spread through the wall. Well, what's actually happened is that the spores spread, and then those enemies spawned, and you walked into the room, and there were newly spawned enemies that didn't have spores on them. It happens very frequently if you play Sanctuary Onslaught, or sometimes survival modes, you'll get that kind of thing as well. Interception is less bad about it, and defense, it doesn't really happen. But yeah. And then the other issue is... what was the one? So that's the line of sight explanation. Oh, and the people thinking that maybe if they got too far away, the spores were not spreading. Well, I can't 100% rule that out because it's too hard to test like what happens if a spore gets 150 meters away from you, especially because there's not going to be anything for the spore to spread to, because that lone enemy 150 meters away is not despawning because he's taking damage from you. However, no other enemies are going to spawn around him because you're not over there, and that's not how Warframe spawning works. That's likely where people got this crazy idea, right? So probably what happens is the enemies spawn in around you and the spores spread to those enemies. But really far away, enemies are not spawning in because you're not over there. And so your spores spread far away, right, to maybe the farthest possible away enemies. Maybe you were moving away from them a little bit or something, right? Well, now, no new enemies are spawning that far away. They're spawning closer to you. Or maybe they did spawn closer to you, and you just haven't, and if you killed all the enemies close to you, maybe a few more would spawn far away. But since they're all spawned currently, then no new ones are getting killed because your spore pocket is like trapped super far away. And yeah, you're in this kind of pickle situation. Now, if you run over to those spores, some enemies will follow you, some enemies will despawn, and some new enemies will spawn. And so then when you get over there, an enemy dies, the spores spread, and it seems like everything's working again. When in fact, everything was working the whole time. It's just that you're noticing some issues with the spawning mechanics in the game because you have access to Saryn spores. And after the changes with the infinite duration, it makes this stuff a little bit more apparent, especially when everyone's not just spamming out recasts of the ability constantly. There's a lot of these issues kind of existed before, and just no one really noticed them. So anyway, I don't know if there are any other egregiously idiotic rumors going around the internet, and you know, it's possible that some of them maybe are bugs. However, I can guarantee you that whatever, if there are any issues, it's not that the enemies are not close enough to you, at least not up to 100 or so plus meters, and it's not some sort of line of sight issue. It's probably fucking something else, if there is an issue at all, that kind of seems like that. And I know that because I actually tested it before going on the internet and spouting off about it. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll probably, you know, actually I'll hopefully not post any more videos on Saryn today. I think this kind of covers everything really, but I might just do some sort of little, it's a lot of work to do like a little cut together compilation where I go to a defense and I go to a survival and like I go to an interception and I spread my spores easily on all of them and then laugh at the people who think that that's difficult for some reason. Because I've done that, but then I have to actually edit the video together, and then this is the part that sucks. I have to wait for it to render, and I have an older CPU, so it takes a while. Yeah, anyway, might do it anyhow, but I'm not sure it's really worth it just to like rub my, you know, thumb my nose at the haters. But thank you all for watching. If you like this content and you want to see more like it, please like, comment, and subscribe, or better yet, you know, share something you actually think is useful with your friends. Hopefully there is something useful in my content. That's all for now. Yakri out.